Masha, you were born in Russia. What was it like growing up there?
Well, I lived there until I was 6, so I don't remember too much from when I was really young, but um, it was good. It was. I was like a little kid. I went to school in Moscow. I spent time at school. We had an apartment there, and then we just went out, went around the city, went to different parks and stuff. So just your typical life as a 6-year-old.
So, does your family mostly speak Russian still and still embrace Russian culture even though they live in the U.S. now?
Well, I live here with my mom and my granddad. So my granddad only speaks Russian, and so his culture is just completely still back in Russia, pretty much. But my mom, she speaks fluent English. She has a slight accent. But for the most part, she's become more so American. She's kind of in the middle in a way. Like, she still has aspects of her Russian heritage, but she's developed a lot of American characteristics now.
Okay. So what were the living conditions like when you lived in Russia? And is the housing similar to the U.S.?
Especially in Moscow, where I'm from, it's mostly condos. Everyone just kind of owns their own apartment in a way. So there's just a lot of skyscrapers, just really tall buildings with lots and lots of apartments. And that's where we lived as well.
So what are people like in Russia, and do they act similar to people in Texas?
Definitely not to people in Texas, but I think that it really depends on where you go. In big cities, it's very similar to cities like New York, where everyone's just rushing to kind of get where they need to go. So they might be a little bit rude, a little bit pushy. But I think that in the smaller villages and stuff, it's going to be more similar to small cities in the U.S., where people just all know each other and they're very friendly and helpful to each other.
So what do you miss most about Russia?
I think possibly just the 4 seasons. To be honest, I'm still not completely used to being here, and just experiencing summer for 8 months out of the year.
Yeah.
That gets really stressful, and I really miss the snow.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It's really bitterly cold there, right?
It can be during the winter, especially, but it's really nice because they have the whole spring season and a fall season as well. And it does get hot during the summer. So,
identify yourself more as a Russian or American?
I personally define myself as American, but it really varies about how other people define me. Here, obviously, most people do see me as Russian, but that's usually when they actually know me, because until they heard my name, I just strike them as the same, kind of American girl. But whenever I go back to Russia, they do notice kind of the cultural similarities. The way I talk is a little bit different, so they actually see me as more American there.
Okay. So what would you recommend a tourist do if they were to go to Russia?
Well, the main tourist cities are going to be Moscow and St. Petersburg. So I would definitely say just go and see those, see all of the museums and architecture. Moscow has the Red Square, has all the cathedrals, and just it's a mixture of pre-communist era architecture as well as the very stoic communist era, and so it's a very historic looking city. So there's a mixture of everything.
So have you gone back to visit Russia at all? And if not, do you want to go back more?
I actually used to go almost every summer after I moved here. I haven't gone quite as often now, but I'll go every couple of years or so, and it's just really nice to get back to my roots and see some other family members that aren't here, and some friends too.
So what's Russian food like?
It's really hard to describe. It's I usually like to say it's kind of homey in a sense. There's not too many spices or anything involved, so it's more plain in that aspect. But they use a lot of basic products like fish and meats, potatoes, lots of vegetables. So it's kind of similar to American food in that way. Maybe not as greasy.
Yeah. Is there a particular Russian dish that you miss?
My mom makes this soup called borscht, and it's kind of weird to pronounce, but it's made out of beets, mostly. So it's like beets and potatoes and cabbage, and then you can add beef to it, or you can just keep it vegetarian. But it's really cool because you can actually eat it hot or cold. So people eat it like throughout the year, whether it's during the winter or during the summer.
Do you speak any Russian?
I'm fluent.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Can you like say something?
Let's see. Привет, меня зовут Маша, я из России.
What does that mean?
That means hi, my name is Masha, I'm from Russia.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for doing this interview.
No problem.